Facebook.
Type in Northwest Race Report.
Gosh darn it. Not this crap again.
Should come up.
There we go.
NWRR.
Was it Northwest Race Report or something else?
NWRR.
Just go to @NWRR show and that'll get you. Don't worry, my thing's going crazy too. Everybody's probably online, so let's see. Stream there. Got that. God, I gotta go all the way back into this thing. Are you kidding me? Yeah, no, ever since they changed this thing, man, it's been nothing but a nightmare. What's up, everybody? Those tuned in on Spreaker, hang tight. We're coming. Typical Facebook having to fight it.
Veronica just joined the group on her phone, so expect it.
There we go. We're there. Oh, what is going on, everybody? Got a great show for you tonight. We got the great Chris Gibb with us, so don't go anywhere. Oh, what is going on, racers? I'm your horsepower performance host, Terry Bridges, and tonight on our karting history. It's kind of not really karting history. It's kind of like karting, just whatever we want to talk about. So, welcome to the show, the one and only, the real deal, Mr. Chris Gibb. What's going on, real deal?
What's happening, dudes?
Not mucho. Todd Connell, what is up, my friend? Good to see you on. He's kind of a late model guy. So he's our first one tonight. You win, baby. You win. What's going on, man? So how are things?
Well, just here in Cali, beautiful weather. We had Joe and Emma over today, had some food, hung out in the backyard, and ready to go racing. That's what we talked about at lunch.
Well, I noticed, I don't know if you saw it today. I saw it on Facebook, but the UAS, that Grand National team,
yep,
they put out a post that I think they're going to, they said they were just going to stay. But, oh, Montoya, what's up, baby? They're just going to kind of lay low, let things kind of roll out, which I think is a smart idea. I mean, I don't know what this brings for September, but in the Nationals, but I mean, I think it's cool that they're going to give it some time. Don't you?
Yeah, my opinion is people got to travel. Saving their money right now is tough, I'm sure, on everyone going through the COVID pandemic. So I think trying to wait it out and see what's going to unfold is probably best.
I could not agree more. I just think let me ask you this then, since this will be a good start. So, how do you feel with the new Grand National team? Do you think for the Unlimited All-Stars, do you think that's going to be I think that's a step in the right direction, don't you? I think this is something they needed for a while.
Well, my opinion is you put too many cooks in the soup tastes like crap. So putting a committee together with good guys behind it to back it that really understand what they're talking about is going to definitely shut a lot of the haters up. I don't like the body work. I don't like the nose. I don't like the splitter, blah, blah, blah. Okay, guys, listen. You're finally going to get rules that everybody's going to abide by, and it's going to be the same for everyone. I get it. We don't all have the same cars. We don't all have the same body work, blah, blah, blah. But these guys are going to streamline it, and they're going to stick to their guns. I like it.
I do too, man. I think it's a super good deal. And then, and I think too, as a race director, you've now got some help, right? You're not the one guy. I mean, yes, you're going to have the final say, but you've got 4 other good guys that are going to be around watching what happens. And I just think that's going to be, I mean, after being at Florida, not knocking anything, it just needed some more officiating and somebody to make some calls. But that being said, I'm not one that likes anytime there's some contact. I'm not one of those guys that thinks there needs to be a call either, right? I mean,
no, I think sometimes you gotta let it play out. My rule of thumb is, you do it to me, hopefully your tires came in and you left, and I didn't catch back up.
Yeah.
Steve
Sharpley, Derek Wallace, and your boy, Chris Vieira, says, Chris Gibb is my hero.
That's enough.
How do you know Vieira? How you guys race together a lot?
Well, we raced we call it the sand pit back in the day. This would have been like 2011, 12. And him and CJ Martin were pitted next to me. And I started some drama, and I brought Joe out with my ITEL Rotary Open. And the class they had was, if you brought a go-kart, you could race it. And so when I took the car cover off and it had the Open on it, it was weighted for 116 cc. And so when we went to Tech, Chris was one of the first ones on my side and said, you can't tell him he can't race, well, you can't run in UAS. So there was a couple other guys that didn't have cars that didn't really fit in that, so they split them up between UAS and an Open class, and they started the Open guys on the other side of the track. Anyways, it went green, ended up being a yellow flag, and that was Joe's first time racing Open, and ended up beating all the UAS guys too. So it was pretty cool.
That's super cool. So what's Mini Gibber doing these days? I mean, he's getting a taste of that married life, huh?
Yeah, they are two peas in a pod. I'll tell you, they just really, really click. I think Emma's got the bug to go back racing again, which is cool. I've got two cars ready to go. My Yamaha car's ready, and my twin is ready. I mean, if we could go race right now, we would. So I think we're going to play with those a little bit this year, and maybe bring the Dominator out and drive it probably in Yamaha a few times, but just ready to get out of the house and get on with it.
Right, I know. I think, I mean, everybody's going, I mean, even, you can even see it on Facebook, right? Early on, everybody's all, hey, keep it up, keep some money. Now everybody's going, man, you need a job, or you need this, you need this, or you need that. I mean, it's everybody's just to the point of, well, and at first I didn't get it, but I kind of do now. Like Trump said, the solution shouldn't be bigger than the problem. And I think that's a very good statement there with that. I mean,
it's brilliant, to be honest.
It is.
And I understand many people are extremely fearful of it all. And my dad is going to turn 80 this year, and he has COPD and emphysema. And, the last thing I want on my side of the fence is for him to get this and go through any type of complications. So it bothers him pretty bad, and obviously it hits home for my brother and I too. And so you can't really ignore it, especially when you got somebody elderly. But at the same time, the economy going absolutely in the tank. We've got to turn it on, at least on a safety point, to bring ourselves back to square zero before we all get ourselves in a world of hurt.
Absolutely. Bill Johnson, man, America Ferocious. Man, they're a ferocious quarter midget team up there in the Washington area. The fam is here. That is cool. Steve Sharpley in the house. So, Gibb, let's talk a little bit about, I mean, we've been on UAS. The King of the Castle, you came up to it last year. Weren't you here last year? Yeah. You came to one of them. But we hear about SoCal, and I know Scott Boley's the administrator, and then we've got Gil Atkinson, who's our West Coast rep or overseer. What's going on? What's going on down there with the SoCal US? Or are you in that loop still?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not on the committee. I mean, I was race director at the pro race last year. I try to help out the best that I can. If they ask and I can help, I'd rather go and help than race a lot of the time, just to try to hopefully keep things as square as possible. That's really hard to do when you run a pro race. But yeah, we got a 2-day show this year for our pro race, which is super cool, and that's going to be really fun if we can all get out of the house.
Where's that going to be at?
That's going to be at Aristotle Speedway. And,
okay.
We raced Aristotle Speedway last year for our pro race, and this year we are only going to race there. We had kind of a makeshift rodeo track, as we all called it, down here inside a horse arena, and it was pretty rough, to say the least. But those guys, the SoCal crew, Ronnie Benton, Tim Erickson, Scott Boley, those guys, Matt Jones, can't forget him, stuck their nose out and said, hey, look, we got to get a better racetrack. And every time we've raced at Aristotle Speedway, we've always had a good show. It's not a wreck fest. It ends up coming in good. It makes good bite. You can race. So that's our home track, which I think is also going to really help SoCal Carters as a club to turn us back around, because that's what we need. When we lost the sand pit, that's what I call it, but the rest of us call it that. We lost so many members just because it ended up getting bounced around between Victorville and Paris and then this rodeo deal. And I think everybody just got a little bit frustrated and said, you know what, forget it. So now having a home track, it should help us out.
That's really cool. Well, here's a question for you, and I'm just curious. I know he left for a while. He had some personal issues he was dealing with, but is Fontaine back in California?
I do not know that. That would be Derek Wallace would probably be the best one, I would say, to probably respond, since he's up there. And I think they were friends as far as I know.
Yeah.
Chime in. I don't know that.
Okay.
I hadn't seen him since the Nationals in 2017.
Yeah, I know. It was man, what a good guy. He helped me out. Matter of fact, I'm wearing one of his shirts tonight that he made for me. He traded me some shirts for some airtime, and it was really cool, and they're super nice. And I was just sad to see him, go through all that stuff, because, it didn't seem like
awesome
it was.
Dude.
Yeah, really awesome dude. I hope he still got his stuff too, but I don't. A lot of times when you go through that stuff, you gotta kind of prioritize, here and
liquidate,
there. Yeah,
liquidate, not to hate.
Yeah, that's it, man, for sure. But, that's one of the coolest things, Gibber, is just all, there's, we'll talk some racing, but aren't the people just aren't they just amazing in the sport? For me, it's like, I don't know. I'm not really racing, but just being around all those cool people, man, I just think it's awesome.
From going from SoCal and, as much as I've been to the Northwest, heck, I raced up there about as much as I raced down here. And I think all you guys is my Northwest family, because I've been up there so long with my brother living up there and dragging me up. Hey, come on up and run this place. It's an old airplane hangar. I'm like, huh? Yeah, come on up. And that was Oakwood.
I know, man.
To meet Buddha and Ronnie and Renee and the whole group that was up there, Fosdick and Shaw, was like, this is pretty darn cool. So yeah, you hate to say that your hobbies end up making mutual friends. It's the truth.
It is, and you just said it. You're like your Northwest family, because I know for me. I've been at every BK, luckily, but like the times when you couldn't be there, or like even last year when Berg and Stansberry weren't there. You really notice. I guess you don't notice just how important they are till they're gone. And then you really notice the dent, that's there. It's a real void.
It's the anticipation of the vibe, is what I call it. When you are putting on a pro race of some sort, and these big guns are coming. I'm just going to call it out as what it is. And those missing links aren't there. I'm not going to say we all go, oh, man, glad that guy didn't show up. But don't think in your head you're glad they didn't, because we've all done it. We've all said it. Well, that's one less guy that has a chance to win that is going to run up front. But you know what? Would you rather him there? Absolutely. Because I don't want to go race against anybody except the best. So going out there and winning it with 4 guys and say, hey, look at me, I won, it ain't even worth the tow money.
Yeah, absolutely. And to be perfectly honest, I know Berg, he just had a new baby. And it just tells you what a big event the BK is, because Berg said, man, I went out. I got up early. I had my junk ready. And I got out there and I was going to load it up and just head out early and try to do it, the one-shot deal. But he said, I just couldn't bring myself to leaving my wife, my new baby. Totally get it. But what I'm saying is that's the kind of drive that these guys have when it comes to the BK, and I just think that's awesome.
Well, I reach out to, Eric Stan, him and I become pretty tight, and for him to, coming off of what he won the year before, and, the tragic loss of Jan is just, that wave is yet to land. It's so
you're
within the group. So, we all try to keep ourselves grounded with Jan, Jan's part of it. I don't want to get all sappy about it, but
no, man, it's okay, because honestly, he deserves us to get a little sassy about. I mean, it's a void that will never be filled. I believe that it's a void that will never ever be filled.
And again, would we have been there if it wasn't the same weekend as my son's wedding? Absolutely. And hey, the stars didn't align. That I give Eric tons of credit from obviously the Gibb camp to choose to go to the wedding and not go racing, especially being the previous year's winner. So, hats off to him. He means a lot to me.
Oh, well, dude. Hey, you know what? I mean, there are some that may not, think, but I mean, Eric Stansberry is a class dude, man. I mean, there's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it, at least for me. And I don't know. I mean, yeah, that really doesn't surprise me, though. I mean, you at the end of the day, you got to put family ahead of the racetrack, and you're family to a lot of people. I mean, I certainly know you are to Eric. You definitely are to me. I never got an invite, so I didn't even really know until it was, But could I have made it? I don't know that I could have, but still.
It was when you go to put a wedding together for everybody who's going to have a wedding one day, it is so hard.
It is.
To choose. I had to just I just told Joe and Em, it's on you guys. Tag me out because I don't want to hear it from nobody.
Yep. And and it didn't matter. Either way, you were going to be in trouble somehow, right? If it wouldn't have been.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
you got that right.
Yeah.
Yep.
100% right. So
and Montoya was fun because Montoya wanted to be there. Also, he's like planning on going to BK. Also, Chris Vieira, and then we got to do what we got to do. So it's one time. Will we be back this year? Yeah, you can guarantee that.
Well, Gary Long says Gibb Karting number 88. Who was 88?
Gary Long is running under our tent this year. Hasn't sat in the seat in probably 20 years, and we have a combined effort in a race car, and we went and made some laps in it about a month ago on the pavement, and he did a really good job, and he's full bore, ready to go and hop in the saddle and do it again. So that's encouraging for me because, not that I don't love to race, but I sure do enjoy the passion of people who haven't done it for a while. And they get out there and make some laps, and the joy they get out of it gives me a kick in the ass.
See, and I love hearing that because I think you're kind of like me. Back in the day when we were younger, it was all about getting the W and being the fast guy and this and that, and I think I said it on my Late Model Monday show. I was telling these guys, I mean, I think we all know that the win is, I mean, that's what we're there for, right? I mean, you go there to win. So that's a given. So we can get rid of that. But it's when if somebody asks me, hey, I got a car here, it's probably not going to, it's probably a top 5, top 10, we don't have all the hot dog stuff to, maybe run up front, but would you want to drive it? I'd be like, some guys would be like, nah, no way, if it doesn't have a chance. But for me, I would be like, heck yeah, because so much of it now is just being a part of it, just being out there, just rolling.
Well,
I mean, winning's just a benefit.
It's funny you say that because our SoCal Pro race this past year, Joe come the week before and says, hey, Dad, I think I want to run. And I was like, dude, nothing's together. Well, I want to drive the Dominator. Well, that you got to understand, that's a 1988 straight rail. That's my first go-kart that I got. Not the first one I raced, but my own personal one that I own. And I've had it ever since. And he didn't want to drive anything else. That's what he wanted to drive. And so to go out there, come over and bust his butt for the whole week and prep it and get the thing all done and go out there. And, yeah, there was some drama in the tech tent. And he finished, I don't know, I guess he went through the B, got out of the B, started last in the A and finished fourth. And then, the tech barn was hot and heavy. We're talking cranks out of the motors. There was nothing left. Old Man Nash was there and did absolute stellar job, kept everybody on their toes, and my kid ended up winning it due to tech. And, that, to me, I don't want to win like that without a shadow of a doubt, but that if you come to those caliber of races, don't test the tech guy because you don't know what you're going to. And, it hurt some feelings for some mad folks, but that same group will probably come this year. And it was big money. That was $2,000 to win. So you'll show up this year, and you'll make sure everything's straight, and we'll see how it goes. Is there luck at a pro race? I'd rather be lucky than good any day.
Right. Well, and it's the same old thing. I'd say, yeah, you hate to win like that, but I don't know. You can't really say you didn't win because you were racing somebody that wasn't legal. And so being legal is part of the game. Now, I'm not saying they came there to cheat. I'm just saying at the end of the day, you really can't downplay those W's because, maybe it wasn't a horsepower thing or a winning edge. But the fact of the matter is, there's so many variables to this sport that, and passing tech is one of them. So And motor builders make mistakes, and they're not doing it intentional. The ones that get caught with major defiances within the rules that are obvious, those are cheaters, and it happens. Do they mean to do it? Maybe. Did they mean to, or they just forgot to check it properly? Maybe. Was your tech tools off? Maybe. I mean, it never ends. There was so much drama. We didn't get out of there till 3 a.m, or later than that. And again, is it hard to take that one home? Yeah, it was hard. It's not like we went there with that. We wanted to win, but hey, if that's the way you did it, look what happens at the UAS Nationals. If you're off by 2 pounds or BK, and you can't get that thing right on the scale, what's the outcome? You're done. Go home. You might not make the show, but even if you do make the show, look at Diotti.
Yep.
I talked to him the other day, and he dominated from the time he unloaded until 10 laps from the end. And he said, honestly, I was out of shape. And some people would look at that and go, come on, out of shape, what? But so between a little bit of tires and a little bit, and maybe a little bit more of not being in the car for a year, that just shows you how quick.
Well, I can tell you what, from driving one on multiple levels of UAS cars. If you aren't in shape, it will eat you up and spit you out, especially if you've got a track that's making any kind of bite. And anybody that says anything otherwise is a liar. It's a handful, and you need to win the mental game, and the physical game shouldn't even be within your zip code whatsoever.
Right. That should be almost automatic. And anybody that's done it for any length of time, I think, really knows that. I mean, every now and then, you get lucky and you could be completely out of shape and you bag one. But, that's what Diotti was saying. He says, we were hoping for 2 or 3 yellows and we never got them. So, I mean, that's what I'm saying, man. I think that's what makes our sport so bloody awesome. Is it, you're counting on those cautions, or you're taking that risk on that tire, and gosh darn it, sometimes it works and you're a hero, and other times you miss it by 10 miles and you're taking your butt home in your trailer and saying, yeah, we got our fannies whipped. But I think that's the beauty of the sport, really.
We've all done it with our necks falling off. Hard. Go to Arizona. As many guys, I'm sure, has been around AKA, and 20 laps around AKA. You pull that neck strap so tight that the left side of your helmet is dragging your shoulder, and that's no joke. And you got to take the mental part of it, and that's got to be your focus, not the physical part of it, for sure.
Right. And we all know the two are tied together, because if you're physically whipped, you're mentally going to be, boy, you better be super mental if you're going to try to overcome that.
I hear you. Vera needs a punch for the dyno tune valve caps for anybody that wants to really go fast. You better get a set of Chris Vieira corner speed valve caps.
Well, that's sweet. What are those? Tell me what those are.
I can't. Those are for cheaters only. If I told that,
Chris Vieira says it is. It's a chess game, is what it is. I mean, that's a perfect analogy for that. It is. Because and let me just say this. For years, I wasn't a big 4-stroke guy. I'm like you, man. Air cooled. I came from the Comet, Corsairs, BM, all those days. And so you see these 4-strokes and you go, yeah, but, But, the thing that I've noticed, having watched them, is you really do have to have the whole package. You got to have speed. You got to have setup. You got to have some, the thing's got to be able to come in when it needs. You got to be sturdy, and you gotta use your mind, because they're so close, and everybody's so equal that now it comes down to those little things. Am I sturdy enough? Did I? You know what I mean? I think that's one of the coolest things about like the 206 and all that stuff, is everybody's so equal. Now the little things really show up.
Well, we down here like to put treads and tariffs on it and back the thing in with 80 horsepower, and that's a whole lot of fun, I can tell you right now. I got Hager on the line to come drive it. Dan Berry, my brother, Brian Drolinger. So I don't know how much seat time I'm going to get in it, but yeah, we're definitely going to burn it down this year and get it out there and make some laps. I know Chris Southern needs somebody to race with, and we whooped his ass the last time we brought it out, so we're up for another one.
Chris Southern's a shoe, though.
He's awesome. We've had battles, Royale, me and that guy, since 88, 89, and he went away and went drag racing and did his thing and came back just as fast as ever. And we enjoy him and his son Thomas and Joe and I. And yeah, we've had some bang up shows and look forward to getting it on again for sure.
Yeah. When is that pro race? When is it? When is it like tentatively scheduled for?
I think it's in August, but I'd have to look at the SoCal schedule. So anybody who's interested in doing it, look up, go on SoCal Carter's Facebook.
Well, I don't know. I mean, you guys probably got a guy already doing it, but I wouldn't mind coming down and calling that one. That would be kind of sweet.
I think Zimmerman did it. Well, I don't know that, Kerry. That's a good question. I'll definitely look into it because it's. I think last year we got 29 Yamahas. I think there was 12 opens. There was a bazillion clones. There was a lot of cars for a one-day show, and so this year, like I said, it's going to be 2 days, so we can kind of get the thing split up because the day ran longer than it. I mean, the Yamaha main only ended up being 12 laps, which wasn't really fair for all the guys that traveled. People were pretty heated, so as us at SoCal, we want to make sure that everybody feels like they got a fair shake at getting the W.
Yeah, for sure, man. No, that would be. Yeah, I would love to. Because we had talked about me coming down and doing. You were going to get the. What was it? It was going to be an air cooled only deal, and that never. I don't know whatever happened to that, but yeah, that would have been fun to come do. But yeah, I would love to do. I mean, check it out. I mean, I don't want to step on anybody's toes or anything, but I wouldn't mind even come down being a pit reporter if you got somebody already calling and stuff.
We do not have somebody doing that, and that would be something that would be. Again, I don't want to speak out of turn because I'm not on the board. If Tim Erickson, Matt Jones, or Ronnie Benton, Sky Boy are on, those guys are going to be the ones making those calls. I cannot say.
Oh, no, I get it. No, I totally get it, man. Maybe just throw my name in the hat anyway, and I got a great sponsor, Steve Seiler. He owns Stimpy's Bar and Grill up here in Washington. They make some killer burgers. He helped me get it's an FM transmitter. So really what I got it for was for like at BK or like some of the bigger events when maybe the PA doesn't reach everybody. I plug this thing in, and what it does is that you tune in. I say, hey, tune into 87.3 on your FM dial, and the PA comes in over your FM radio.
That's pretty sick.
Really cool. And I used one up in Canada, and I just wanted to test it out. So what I did was I went and put some music on, and dude, I went in my car. I'm telling you, man, it is first class. I mean, it's really cool. And then you put your antenna on top of the scoring tower or whatever, so it reaches. But yeah, and the thing will go like up to 1.5 miles. So
we want to get as many people as we can. Again, yes, we have tire rules minus open or UAS, whatever you want to call it. You can run 22s, TX 22s or 33s in both Cologne and Yamaha. And so, that narrows things down. No prepping at the track. You can bring as many as you want prep to the track. So that, again, it narrows some of it, takes some of the what out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's we had a heck of a show. We qualify, and I mean, I'll tell you what, it was the qualifying. The first 10 guys were within 3/10. So I mean, it's no joke. And everybody said, "Oh, you can't be that good on treads." And one guy's got a straight rail, and one guy's got an offset. I got news for you. That's a bunch of malarkey.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So that's going to be in August. Okay, cool. Well, we'll see. I think Chris Vieira said Scott DeLazio announced.
Oh, Scott DeLazio. Okay, yeah, he's the guy who announces the sprint car races at Paris. So again, I don't want to step on any toes. We'll definitely look into it for you, Terry, for sure.
Oh yeah, like I said, I definitely don't want to do that. And even if I could just come down and help, maybe like I said, float around and do some stuff so people know what happened when people spin or in the pits, or it might be kind of cool.
Well, we can do some celebrity laps, and we'll put you in the twins and you go out and make some laps in it.
I wouldn't want to embarrass myself, but yeah, hey, long as it was the twin. No, I'm kidding. Wow, man.
If not, Vieira will be bringing RC cars to make sure he keeps you safe.
There you go. That might be. No, I got to say, I wasn't bad. I just wasn't, I'm just not. I just never was you guys, But, of course, I never really did it on the dirt either. I was always, back when I was doing it, I was just doing the pavement thing on all the sprint stuff. So,
well, we did a pretty cool pavement series back in '97 in Kentucky. I ran for Jim White, racing White chassis, and it was a quarter-mile paved oval, and we ran Yamaha light and Yamaha heavy, and that was probably some of the cool. And we all had to be on Burris 15A, same tires for everybody. So with seats and setups and change the axle. So there was a lot of I guess mechanical changes you had to do to get this thing to go on that tire, which made the racing super tight. And I'll tell you, man, that was what a fun time. For me, that's one of the most fun series I ever ran, and it was on the pavement, believe it or not.
Wow. Well, now where was that at?
It was I used to fly into Kentucky where Jim White's shop was.
Okay.
And then we raced Indy, and then we drove to Kentucky at this track. The name of it was Zinger. So there was Marguson and Lakaitis and all those guys showed up down there with their guys, and Magnum carts at the time. And
did you say Slinger? You said Slinger?
No, Zinger.
Okay, Zinger. Okay.
Like Hostess.
Yeah,
Same thing.
Yeah. Well,
And,
didn't Boley have he used to, where was that in Cali? They used to race a pavement oval.
Rialto.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rialto. Actually, the guy Brian, well, that's where Gary Long comes from. The car that he drives is a 96 White. And he raced on the pavement 98% of the time. He wasn't really a dirt guy. He raced the dirt. When him and I became buds and figured out we lived one street over from one another, he decided, hey, let me go try this dirt stuff. So Gary and I went down to Verona and ran the quarter mile down there, and Gary got out of it, and the car, he says, I'm just going to leave the car with you, whatever you want to do with it. So it literally sat in my shop for at least 8+ years. And my dad loves doing restoration, so it made it up to my dad, and my dad did his thing of cutting the front end off it and make adjustable front end. Long story short, it's all back together now, and Gary's going to race it this year at SoCal. So
sweet,
pretty good deal.
Well, he said you can get some seat time in the KT88. That'd be cool.
I'll make that call, Gary. No, I'm just being a dick.
I know you are. That's okay. That's fine. It wouldn't hurt my feelings anyway, honestly. I don't claim to be something I'm not. But yeah, for sure. That Rialto thing was good because I remember Fow took a bunch of guys when he had his Track Magic program really going.
Yep.
And they came down there and did pretty good, I guess.
No, they whooped everybody's ass. Just say it.
Okay. They did.
Hey,
they came down and cleaned up.
Okay, I just want you to say it.
Well,
it was.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say I didn't go to that. I know Boley and his group did.
Yep.
And some other guys did, and yeah, they had some battles. Scotty was really fast there too. Chris Vieira and Chris Vieira's dad, rest in peace, Big Vint. He raced there also, and that's a lot of us raced against one another in SoCal. We didn't even talk to one another, and now all of a sudden we're all bros. So it's pretty cool.
Well, Derek Wallace said we used to race at Altamont, quarter-mile asphalt oval in the late '90s, and Atwater early 2000. Talk about needing a shoulder strap.
Holy crap, that's got to be fast, dude. That's again. I think they did that somewhere. Jason and Ronnie and somebody else did that somewhere up there. Some big.
No, you know what it was?
Huge.
It was huge. What it was he and Kevin Bridges went up to.
Said it wore him out in 3 laps.
Yep. They went up to Evergreen Speedway.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yep,
Evergreen.
and they ran on the 3/8. And I don't know if you ever saw the video. But
I didn't.
oh
I didn't post it.
oh my God, Kevin, you're on here. Kevin, you need to repost that. Let me tell you, Ronnie. I mean, you watch Ronnie, because the only reason why I know this is because this was the year he had the cool rap of NWRR in his car. He took it up there, and man, when he gets on the throttle and leaves, he goes from being, where you can see him on the video to a black dot. I mean, it's just almost instantaneous. He's boom, and he said we weren't even geared right. We were having a lift before we got to the start finish line. So imagine, imagine if they would have been geared right. I mean, it was stupid fast. I mean, stupid fast.
Hope, if I could do any request, and I only did it 2 times, I guess I sure like Skagit. Skagit was by far, and we had good luck. We had bad luck 2 different years with stupid shit. One breaking a clutch and whatever. And that was Joe's, believe it or not, in Yamaha. That was Joe's first ever win ever, was at Skagit in Yamaha, driving my 88 Dominator up there. So kind of near and dear to me. I'd love to go back there. Whether I don't know if I'm going that fast, but I'd like to put Joe and my twin up there and let that thing go.
Mm-hmm. For sure, man. And, there's a lot of California guys down there, and I just want to give some love to I haven't met him personally. I just met him through Facebook. But if you guys get a chance to check out his podcast, his name is Stephen Blakesley. He does all the media stuff for Kern County and some of those things, man. Check out his podcast. He's got it's way more pro than this one. But he does he does a great job, and just kind of maybe support him if you guys are down there, because he seems like a really good guy.
Cool.
Yeah, he's a super good guy. Like I said, I've never met him. He just sent me a few messages on Facebook, and we've kind of become friends that way. But he seems like a really cool cat, and I'm just all about, it used to be, I used to be all competitive, and, now, hey, I got my little show, and it is what it is, and I'm just all about, making sure everybody gets a little taste of everything. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not worried about.
I hear you.
It's just all about helping out the other guy. If he's out hustling and trying to do something for the sport, then I'm all about, backing him and stuff. So. Well,
I'll tell you, obviously I follow all the Monroe guys, and those guys, if they could pack a trailer, 40-foot trailer, and come down to that pro race, every one of those guys, again, as long as you got legal stuff, you're going to be beyond in the hunt. Beyond.
Yeah.
Those guys haul ass around Monroe, and Harris ends up being a lot of the same. So, we love to pack it in at Harris for the pro race. If those guys have any interest, or anybody wants to shoot me a message on Messenger, I'll do the best I can with info, and it's going to be a cool deal. And
yeah.
The more the merrier. Last year, 29 go-karts paid $2,000 to win. So if you win, you're gonna make some money.
Dude, that's sweet. I see Rocket's on here, and I just want to tell Ronnie, hey Ronnie, if you got that video of when you guys were at Evergreen, because I want to say, when they pulled in, all the stock car guys, all the late model guys, they were all looking at them like, who are these guys? What are these things? I mean, they were clowning them basically until they went out, and then afterwards it was like, oh my God! It was like, hell yeah! People don't get. They look at these things and they go, what is this? Right? They think it's a joke until they go see it run, and then they go, oh my God! I mean, they were burning laps without even gears close to. I mean. They were freaking fast. That's where
you're checking the wheel nuts about 6 times before you go out.
Yes, sir, man.
Hey, dude, did you check the wheel nuts? Yeah. Hey, dude, did you check the wheel nuts? Yeah. Hey. It's like, listen, I'm going too fast, dude, to have this thing start coming apart.
Well, that's what I asked Ronnie. I said, would you race? He said, no way. He says, man, if you ever got, he says, I'm not kidding you, Chris. he, you go from seeing him in the video, and then he stands on that thing, and it is like instantaneous, and he's a dot. I mean, he vanishes. He's like, boom, and he's into the corner. I mean, it was crazy. But he said you were going, I mean, even ungeared and not geared right. He said you were going so flipping. If you ever got around or in the tires, you'd be history. I mean,
yeah, you wouldn't. You'd have to have like fun cart bumpers all the way around so you didn't end up hooking somebody.
I know. Well, that's where those. What are those? What do they call those ones back east that got the full cage and stuff around them? They run them on the dirt, right? I think Yao's got one.
Well, did you see me post about 2 weeks ago? Those guys with those SAE carts with the snowmobile motors on the back.
Holy!
And this was like from 1990. These dudes were getting it on open tires. I mean, on treads. I go, man, oh man. No UAS car in its life would run around there. Obviously, these things got huge twin-cylinder motors in them. I get it, but just the fact that they had something back in 1990 that they raced back then, like, wow, that's pretty cool. 440 snowmobile motor on it, hanging off the back of a go-kart, and they would slide them sideways like they're driving sprint cars. It was pretty rad.
That is rad, dude. There's one on YouTube. It's a dude's got it. It's called Gixxer Cart, and he's got like an 1,100 or 1,000 Gixxer on there, and the thing is like 8 feet long. But man, he comes off the corners. I don't even think he goes past third gear, and he is and the thing just sounds like $1 million, right? And oh man, yeah, it's and he's like the old school carts. He's twitching it and sliding it in and then sliding it the other way. And this is on pavement, man. And the dude is getting it on. It's pretty cool. It's really cool.
I got a guy in Australia who wants me to come down and race for him in one of those twin direct drive 125 twins, which, I'm sure we all have seen those things. And, I'm beyond, as a guy who loves the duel, I think to myself, my God, those things haul. And they heave them in there, and I'm thinking, that thing ain't going to stick. They're running around on, like, DG-style dirt. Nope, these things are lifting the left front up about 8 inches and doing wheel stands, and they're direct drive. I go,
dude.
Silly.
I'm telling you, man, I know. And, you don't even have to have raced one of these things. I mean, if you got any kind of a clue, the skill it takes to drive these things. I mean, any like UAS guy, even like, you say, I got my butt kicked, but I mean, dude, you drove that year you lost to Felch. I mean, dude, you drove the ever-loving, the wheels off of that thing. And that thing was bloody fast. I mean, it wasn't like that was some slouch. And so I watch these guys, and I'm just, especially the UAS guys, I'm just in awe. I'm just in awe.
But to clear the air with that, I got a lot of flack of people saying, you should have DQ'd him and blah. I go, listen, the rules are the rules. It didn't matter because I wasn't beating him if there was going to be 20 laps, 200 laps, or 2 laps. He was bad fast, and he proved it not once. He proved it again. So to be a whiner and say, I want to win on a DQ. I don't want to win on a DQ. That's not me whatsoever.
Well, you notice I quit whining after your post.
I'm over it.
I'm just kidding. You go 84, so I didn't even know what to guess. So I said, well, Gibb went 84. I'm going to go 81. Just because I knew you were going to be close. And so I just went 81 just because I said, okay, if Gibb goes 84, I'm going to go 81.
Everybody busted my balls on that. You knew I was going to pick my number. What number was I supposed to pick?
Hey, dude, it was awesome. I think you tied with the guy. Who posted first, you or the other guy?
Me, but they're giving him a shirt, too. I told him to come by and steal it off his porch.
Well, yeah, like you need another Burris T-shirt. Good Lord.
Right. Yeah. I got a couple.
Yeah, you think? But you know what? That brings me to another topic. Is and I know you'll agree this 100%. There's a lot of guys that think they know the sport, but I'm going to tell you, Kurt Burris knows the sport. He is an absolute, in my mind, he's a genius when it comes. He knows he knows the runs, he knows what's going to happen. It seems like he's always ahead of the game. He always knows what's going to happen, and it's just amazing to me.
And I'll tell you, Terry, the whole Burris group, from Jason racing Kurt, my dad racing Mike, we go so far back. And, when you, I guess, have this family bond, and they've treated me with, like I'm one of their own. And you stick to who does right by you and don't do them wrong. You'll always be in that circle, whether it's the perfect tire or the perfect wheel or the perfect race car. We all go through those cycles, but the guys that always stand behind you, you got to not burn those bridges, man. You got to stay tight and right with that, or you'll find out that your name becomes shit, and that doesn't do you any good in the long run. And Kurt and Mike, Derek, Doug O'Banna, Doug is by far the most underestimated guy at Burris, who fields 90% of the calls, gets your order out, beyond solid guy. And so, I can never, ever say thank you enough to the Burris group.
Yeah, I know. I got the pleasure to go with him to the Insane one. Phil Combs couldn't make it, and so Burris gave me the call. Imagine that. Phil Combs can't make it, and you're second in line. For me, that's probably the biggest honor I've ever had, right? So we go back there, and we were at breakfast one day, and I was struggling, man. I was really struggling because I was like, just trying to get these guys up onto the grid was like an act of Congress, and I was all this, I was all over the board. I was like, man, I don't know, man, dude. And he just stopped me at breakfast, and he just laid it out in such a way that it was like so crystal clear that I couldn't believe it. And from that point forward, my weekend was absolutely awesome. It was all because of Kurt Burris, because we were at breakfast, and he said, man, here's what, are you doing this? Are you doing that? Just do this, do that, do this. It's good. You're good. Boom, bang. And it was like, it's one of those things when they tell you something and you go, yeah, I get it 100%. And that's what he did for me. It was just that alone, God darn it. Just that alone was worth the man, I clicked this thing. What is going on? Oh, man. Yeah. See,
you there?
Yeah, I'm here. It's just my Facebook took a dump again.
I was gonna say that I gotta give a toss out to my broski. Hopefully he's listening. My phone ain't catching up, but when I got hey, come on up and race, and I use this treads and tear-offs enough to piss people off, and I don't mean to, but it's just me. He's the one who really showed me how to get around on treads and tear-offs when we went to Oakwood. Then we went to Clark County, and we did all this with I can't think of the guy's name. Jason will say it. Who had the trucks, Bowler go-karts. Bowler came and stayed at Jason's house in Redmond. Chris Bowler got to drive a open go-kart by himself for the first time ever. This would have been, like 96, no, maybe 97, 8. Anyways, he, the amount that he taught me on how to be fast on treads was all him. I take no credit for it, except I've now elaborated since he stopped. And so to say, you can't run on treads, you got to run on slicks. Well, we've been to Hanford multiple times, me and Vieira, and Joe and some other people, Matt Jones, and every time we went there, we've won on treads, and these guys are on slick. But difference is you can run the thing all the way around the roof on the cushion in treads, and it makes grip and works. The guys that are bottom feeders that got to stay out of the grumbly shit, they got to be on slick. And my brother and I used to battle at Hanford, and he had his 150 rotary, and I had a 100 K78, and he'll probably chime in that we had a battle one night where we went back and forth every single lap for 20 laps, fly jobbing each other from the bottom to the top. And he ended up squaring me up on the last lap getting in, and I had tried to get back around him, but that poor 100 didn't have enough to get by that 150 at the flag. But he'll tell you that, boy, we had quite the battle. Those are some pretty fun memories.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That's the thing, man. Everybody wants to win. It's like we talked about earlier in the show, man. Everybody wants to win, but at the end of the day, you go 20 laps side by side, and the guy nips you at the line. Would you have liked to win? Well, hell yes, you would have. But still, you leave there going, you know what? That was one of the coolest races I've ever had, right? It's just I don't know. I guess my whole thought about everything, now having been in it for 30 plus years, doing big cars and go-karts and getting to announce and wrenching and all that stuff, it all kind of comes full circle for me is, it's just, the sport is just, it's worse than drugs. You know what I mean?
I tell you that $1,000 to win race, I'd never been up there ever, and nobody told me about my visor fogging up. And I know Ronnie had to do a motor change and end up putting on a TT25. And my brother's going to buy toothpaste to put in my helmet. He says, "You need to buy this thing called a Fog City." I don't race up there. They
work, dude. Fog City,
well,
those things work good.
I didn't have one, and I lift my visor up. I got a rock in my eye. Ronnie's now all over me, reeled me in all the way from the back. I give him big props for doing it, but I appreciate the grand, Ronnie. Thanks.
Hey, man, you know what?
He knows it's for fun.
The Rocket can wheel, man. The Rocket can wheel it. There's no doubt about it. He went back east and struggled a little bit, but I think anybody who goes back there for the first time is going to go back there and struggle a bit. You're not gonna. I don't think anybody. People underestimate. That's a different breed of cat back there.
He needs to bring his Invader and come down to the pro race with his treaded tires.
Oh yeah, because let me just say that Invader is tough to beat.
That's like my Dominator. We had the oldest go-kart in the field last year, and we won it.
Dude, isn't that awesome? See what I mean? That's what I try to tell everybody. You don't always need state-of-the-art stuff to go fast and win. You just.
But you know what? As a parting gift, Terry, I think all of us older dudes that have done it for a little bit need to start really educating and open up your Star Wars book and help the guys that are spending the money that are close but aren't getting it done. If you would just help them, stop worrying about yourself and go help those guys.
Man.
I'm there now, Terry, that I don't care how I do. I want to take whoever that I can go help and make better, whether it's chassis choice or tire choice or come and put your shit on my scales. I'll do it, because if I don't help the next group of guys that really are passionate, that really want to, anybody can finish fifth. First to fifth is a milestone. So you need to know the specifics and to basically teach them and make them understand why. And when you get there and they get there, they're going to continue on to be the next flow of people to train the next group of individuals that get into the sport that really want to see it go.
Dude, I can tell you a quick story about that, and we didn't get started till late, so we can go over a little bit. But and I don't know if you've met him yet, If you haven't, let me know, and I'll make sure you meet them. You know, one of those families that come in and they are so humble and so amazingly cool. You just can't believe it, and that's the Miller family. Steve Miller and his dad. I believe his dad's name is Chris. I just always call him Mr. Miller because he's like the man. But they came in and they struggled, dude. They were at Oakwood and they struggled and they struggled and they struggled. And nobody went over there to really give them a hand. And finally, I was there one weekend and Mike Collins was there. And I finally I just couldn't take it anymore. So I went over to Mike and I said, Mike, man, you really need to go down and help these guys. I mean, they've been here. I mean, I've been here 10 times, and every time I've been here, I mean, they don't even get to finish the race. He can barely get out there. So he went down there and, like Mike does, said, hey, I guess you need some help. You mind if I take a look at stuff? And they said no. And, and at the end of the day, Mike got it going, and he was so happy just to get out there. And now he is fast. I mean, he's pretty quick everywhere he goes.
Well,
in just about every class he runs.
Hey, it's not coming from me. I want all us old guys that have been doing this, that are still grinding it out, to go, and the guy that you know is on the cusp of beating you, come on, man, take your balls out of your pants and go help him. Just show him what it takes to go that extra 2/10 or 10th. And when you do that, and he learns to do it, then he'll pass it on to the next guy, because it does you no good hoarding your Star Wars book, and you go in your grave. You didn't move the sport along; you just hoarded it for yourself. And at this point, for me, and I've talked to my brother and a lot of other guys, that if we want this sport UAS and all the way through clone and everything else, I know my brother used to do classes on scaling and to understand what scrub radius does and Ackerman gain and all these type of things that go into what happens with the front end of a go-kart. You just taught him that. These guys would have a much better understanding of what the action or reaction to the action is. And that's, I guess, my point.
Gibb, I 100% agree, because you know what I was going to say? I believe in our sport of karting, the most misunderstood thing, the one thing that really nobody really knows. I mean, there's some that, like you and your brother and Fow and those guys, but for 80, 90% of the rest of them, and I mean even some fast guys probably, if you ask them how a go-kart was designed to really work, I'll bet you they couldn't tell you. That's the biggest mystery on the planet, is how a go-kart works. Some guys are taking their, like me, I took my experience from big cars and turning left and tried stuff and did stuff. But, I mean, I'm with you. I'm saying the biggest mystery there is in karting is nobody really I mean, there's a few, but nobody really understands how a go-kart is supposed to work. And I mean, and by work, I mean, the left front gets things started, and then it goes over to the right front, and then it picks up the left rear, which is what that timing and how high and how long it's up is what gets it around the corner. And nobody understands that. Nobody does. I mean, a rare few. There's a handful that do. And that's what you're 100% right. I think, so let me ask you, what if we started a weekend deal, like a deal where we had a weekend seminar where
I got asked to do that for SoCal, just to give some roundabout I guess direction so these guys can start their own Star Wars book.
Dude,
and whether it's perfect for their chassis is where the complication comes in. If you said, I'm gonna go run treads and tear offs, and I got an all 1.25 inch stiff car. I'm gonna tell you, hanging on the side of the wall. Sorry, go buy a '82 Margay, and I'm not lying.
No, but
So-
what I mean was,
But
I mean like
but I can fix it. But I could give you some, and they're going to come back with, this is what I have. Okay, well, I'm going to get you in the zip code, but it's not going to be perfect. So there is things for them to understand. Again, spread radius, Ackerman gain, lead, reverse lead. All these types of things that go into the car. That is your car square? Do you have a laser? Do you square the car up every single time? How do you know the car tracks straight? There's so many things that go on. Say Castle Rock. If your car ain't lasered to go straight at Castle Rock, I promise you, it's not gonna turn in there and get off the corner good. If it does, you lucked out, because those type of things are something that you most likely, the fast guys have it planned in, or they've had the car for a million years and they don't ever change it, and that's what they run. That's okay too. But that's going to be somebody that's run it a million laps. A new guy, he's not going to have all those laps underneath him to say, hey, dude, I bought a Trick Olympic, help. I could probably help the guy. There's a million guys. Ryan Fernandez, he's a trick guy. I'm not a trick guy, but I'd be willing to say, hey, I got a guy who's got one. Ryan, are you willing to help me help this guy go from a 5th place guy to a winner? That's where us guys need to collaborate to make these guys winners, not 5th place guys.
Right. But my thing was like, okay, say it's a weekend deal, right? And you get there on Friday and you start at Friday evening. You have a barbecue where everybody gets together, drinks a few beers, and you get that bonding time. And then on Saturday, you get in there, and I'm not talking about specific stuff. I mean, there is so much basic 101 stuff that people need to learn before they ever worry about, okay, this is my car, and what do I do? And there's so much of the basic stuff they need to know. So you could have a chassis thing, and you could have Kermit Buller or who's the old guy that drives the Ranchero down there at Phoenix? He's got the cowboy hat and
Lockwell.
Yeah, you bring him in, and you have Mike Collins come down, and you teach guys, to understand what their pop off is and why if it's high, what it does, if it's low, what it does. I mean, and then you have another segment where maybe you bring somebody in that's a media guy that tells you what you need to be doing to maybe try to help get some help. I mean, I'm talking about a full-blown, and not so much to say, hey, man, I want to make this guy, just to bring everybody together and say, listen, we're all here to help one another. We're all here. We all want to learn. We'll all learn stuff, man. I never was the greatest, but I'm still learning stuff from Foul,
It's hard. It's hard. I mean, you go to the racetrack. I hadn't seen Castle Rock since my brother said, hey, we're going to run Castle Rock, whatever year it was, 04. And he gave me a rough idea on gear ratio, but, at the time he had Berkeys on it. Now we run dry clutches. I mean, I missed Castle Rock by at least 4 or 5 teeth on the sprocket. Ronnie was gone. There was a lot of guys gone that ended up having failures that, I don't want to. I mean, Joe did a great job. Did our car handle good at Castle Rock? Yeah, it was a slot car, but I blew it on the gear ratio, and we finished second. Look at what Passinetti did. Passinetti came from the graveyard to wax everybody, hands down, smashed everybody in the dirt, and that thing was bullet fast. And you know what? I love to see that. But again, there's another guy. He could help the other guys that are, again, dude, they're swimming around the 7th to 4th place zip code. They need some guidance.
Or we're going to lose them.
Yeah, you're going to lose it.
That's right. I agree 100%. I don't know. I've said this, I don't know how many times. Maybe I just needed to try to organize it. But, I mean, I mean, I just think it would be a cool thing, like a what do I even want to call it? Like a like a weekend.
Terry, I think without a doubt you could do a Skype and have a 2-hour session, and everybody paid who wants to be a part of it, $50. Sounds like a lot of money, right? Let me tell you what. How much does it cost to fill the truck up, to drive to the racetrack again and finish 7th?
Boy, that's the truth. But more than that, man, I mean, I just think it would be cool. Yeah, you could definitely do a Skype one. I'm just talking about making this thing, like, God, I don't even know what to call it, like a boot camp, right? Where you where you could come and it's the weekend and Friday night, man, everybody gets together and meets one another, and man, guys that you're a hero to, they can come up and meet you and say, man, I've been following, and I mean, I just think there's so many guys there. You could have vinyl guys there that could, be giving smoking deals on their wraps and all kinds of stuff. I mean, I just think it would be a cool weekend, almost like a what's that one in Vegas that they have every year?
Supernats.
No, not Supernats, but that show. Where you
SEMA show.
SEMA, yeah, but you have it kind of, but more or less for like just setups. You got guys talking like Kermit Buller and the big engine builders from back east and out west here, and some of the chassis guys, and you have Kurt Burris come and talk to him about tires.
But Terry, I also think that, and I know everybody's going to throw stones at me because nobody wants to hear it in the tire prep guys, but if we don't get to some type of common ground on tires, and I don't care if it's treads or not, it doesn't matter, because
I agree, man.
This has to get to some boiling point, because the entries show the dysfunction of the tires and where we're going with it. And it's not gaining ground. It's losing traction. And the sooner we get there, the better. If you tip UAF, which is by far the hardest one, because those things make oodles of power, but it doesn't matter. All of a sudden, you're going to have the manufacturers now build race cars that say everybody's going to run on a white Vega. Don't kill me for saying that, everyone. I'm just throwing it out there. And you know what? The problem is you're going to take all these prep guys, and I don't care if it's Track Tech or Moonshine or Green or Creo or whatever you use. I get it. But somewhere, if you look at the evolution of the sport, what's killed it is the tires. And there's not one person that wants to like, oh, yeah, I get to go outside and prep the tires for this coming race. BS. You're a liar. There's no way you enjoy that. I'm over it. But yet when it's time to go to Castle Rock, which is one of them, or go to Phoenix when we would run Holiday Classic, yeah, I'm out there with my hazmat suit on doing what you got to do.
Well, and that's like Kevin Bridges says, tires are killing the sport. And I agree. I mean, I'm not a big prep guy, and I asked, I can't remember who it was. I don't know if it was Robbie or Chrissy or whatever, but I said, what if you had a race where all the UAS guys showed up, and this isn't just UAS. I mean, you could use this for anything. I'm just using UAS because that's what I'm a big part of, but if you had a UAS race where you went there and you had to buy the tires there and you couldn't do anything to them, right? You had to buy them right there. And you know what everybody said? They would say nobody would show. Nobody would show.
Okay, then why is it that Kyle Larson's QRC big show gets more QRC cars, and what kind of tires are they on?
Treads.
And how much horsepower do they have?
A gob.
There you go. And I don't want to argue the point, but I'm just putting it out there. And they got a wing and everything else. So if this is what you had to run, and yeah, the track blows off, you're either going to be on 22s, 33s, or 55. That's it. Or a 50. And those are the QRC brands. And so if that's what was your tire of choice and you were a UAS car, and I know they'll come back and say, well, the track's prepped that way. Okay, well, the track is very easily manipulated to not be a pavement track. We force the track to end up trying to be a pavement track because of the way we bitch about it.
Yeah, but the thing is, Chris, I'll tell you this, though. The thing that they're forgetting is they act like one guy is going to be ahead of the game. The game is the same for everybody. So if you took the prep away and you had to come with a no prep, I mean, the playing field is the same for everybody. It's not like I don't care how they prep the track. You know,
now what you're going to have is you're going to have guys who are going to learn about spread radius, Ackerman, lead, reverse lead, and everything that goes into how that chassis works and chassis choice.
See? And now, I remember when I went back to the Insane one, it was like I asked Mike Dickerson, I said, so you mean to tell me if I showed up and I was dialed, right? And you showed up and you weren't quite as dialed as me, but your tire program was better than mine, you'd win? He says, every effing time.
There you go. There's your answer.
He said, and he looks at me and he says, and I mean every time. And so I just was floored because I couldn't believe how much the tires have taken away from having to understand how the go-kart works. To me, that just completely is backwards as to what how I was brought up in carts or whatever.
But you said it before. The guys don't know what to do with the race car. They can buy the race car now with a setup sheet that gets you within the zip code,
just like you would any other time. But I'm talking about the tires now.
I know that, but that car now is designed around a yellow with X amount of prep inside, ounces outside, blah blah blah, wipes, pre-wipe, torch. Come on, I've seen it. So depending on the racetrack you go to, you could go to a track that's on low bite. Okay, you're on a small tube car. You go to a track that's on super high bite, and you're going to be on a big tube stiff car. I mean, the equation is the same as it is for pavement. The pavement guys do that. The difference in those guys is they change the axle in the car, which changes the mechanics or the torsioning effect of the race car, which us dirt guys don't do. We could, but we don't.
Well, and it's the same thing. Everybody says, well, what about all those guys that are making a living with prep? Now you're screwing them over. What about the tire guys or whatever? My belief is now really what happens is even if you took prep away, the tire guys aren't going to lose. Now the tire guys have to do their homework to get a tire that will work consistently, work good, have good grip, and be able to cover a multitude of different track surfaces, not just, whatever. Okay, yellows are here, this or that, and like everywhere, you go to any national, whatever, I don't know, at least at the quarter midgets, 1 year I went up there and Vegas were a thing. If you didn't have Vegas, you were pretty much history. You didn't have a snowball's chance in July. But that's what I mean. Now it makes the tire guys honest, because now what are they thinking? Oh, we can put anything out there. It really doesn't matter. They're going to manipulate it and prep it how they want anyway. So whether it's any good or not doesn't matter.
I think you'd have less than 2 years of pushback. Unfortunately, yes, the tire prep guys would be the guys losing out. And I'm not looking to put anybody out of business, but there's more racers than
tire prep guys.
Tire prep companies.
I don't know though. There's a lot of guys with. I mean, you got Josh Haskins, but he's bringing in like that Cobra. And
I'm not throwing it. I know. I mean, I get it. You're gonna go faster on prep, but how many tires are you gonna bring? How much are you gonna prep? I mean, when does it end? If you I go back to Oakwood, I don't know, 98, 2000, and you take that open class that was just open, call it UAS now. How many guys did Oakwood get back in 2000?
It was over 100, I'll bet.
I mean, you had so many guys in open Yamaha, and yeah, there was guys that had a little bit of creosote and a little bit of Uncle Frank's green. And yeah, you kind of started getting a feel for it. And yeah, diesel fuel. And I mean, back in me and my brother's day, we had these drums that we built, and we had ATF and diesel fuel and toluene. And we used to put the wheel and tire down inside this thing, and we knew how long to soak it depending on and we only went off the durometer reading. We didn't know about tire adhesion, or does the dirt stick to the tire and you need to put some type of wipe on the top of it to keep the dirt from sticking to it so the thing comes in. I mean, nowadays, if you don't know all that, again, back to teaching the new guy to go from 7th to 1st, that's a landslide, man.
Well, Daryl Kelsel said the health benefits will start showing soon. What these kids, what will wait till these kids start developing cancer for no other real reason but tire prep. I sure wouldn't want to be the father or family that suffers that loss. Now prove me wrong.
I mean, I don't know. You can run on treads. You can run on when every other form of race cars that run on the dirt have treads on them.
Mm-hmm. Well, and here's the deal. After you graduate from go-karts, guess what? Prep goes away. There is no prep. Prep is illegal everywhere when you move up to the big car stuff. There might be little places, and I'm sure like we did on the, the only thing we used was xylene. That's what we used when we were in the big cars. And I was
I couldn't wait to get my hands on them tires for the Pro Light when we started racing that. And I got told, they got a sniffer, you come around, you're out for the year. Not for the race, for the year. And I said, well, we'll just leave those babies mounted just the way they are, put a little bit of water on them and clean them up.
That's it. And that's the thing that we're missing is, that's how the sport's supposed to evolve, right? That's what everybody says. Well, like Chris C says, man, we got the chassis figured out. They put all these options on here. That's to sell go-karts. It's not because it's needed back there. Most of those guys already know where those go-karts need to be. They put all these adjustments and all this crap on here to sell go-karts because people think that they need them. But really, the guys that know, like Chris C said, we already know where the go-kart needs to be. We want to go faster. We don't want to go, so we start messing with tires. And so, but I'm with you, Chris. I mean, whether it's treads and tear-offs or just slicks and leave the damn things alone. I mean, wouldn't it be neat to see? I mean, let's face it. The guys that are still fast are probably still going to be fast. Prep or no prep.
There you go. If you put any of the fastest UAS guys, and not to discredit any Yamaha guys, because that class is just as harder than UAS. But you put treads on any one of those guys' race cars, I guarantee you they're going to go out there and they're going to have just as much fun, probably a better race, let's be clear on it, in the long run. Because it's not like, well, I got to guess the yellow flag. I got to guess how many green flag laps. I got to get my screwdriver and go push it in the dirt and see how deep the wetness is. Listen, you're going to make a choice, and you're going to go out there and you can baby it, or maybe you go out there and just hustle the piss out of the thing on treaded tires. A lot of the time, you can go on a harder tire on treads, and believe it or not, old treads, which makes sense, the more they're wore out, the better they work because they get down to where the brick doesn't move. So me, and again, I'm just opening up my Star Wars book. I like to run treads with barely any tread on them.
Wow.
How about that?
Yeah.
So it works more like a what?
Yeah.
Like a slick.
That's what I mean. And here's the thing. You master that prep in go-karts, and then you move up, and guess what? All that crap's out the window. You've basically learned nothing. Now that crutch is gone. Now we find out what you really know. Because
you didn't learn anything. You learned no chassis
exactly
adjustments on the fly through the race day. You
Exactly.
learn that, the track's coming in. You took all lug nuts off and put a different set of tires on. You probably didn't even put it back on the scales. Most guys, they just zip them on and go and roll some more shit on them and push to the grid.
Well, and let's be real. I mean, I'm not dogging anybody, but I'm just saying, I mean, prep is like being a drug addict. Once you're on it, it's hard to get them off it. You know, now it's a crutch. Now you gotta have it where you go. You know, you don't really know what to do. So all you really know is, man, I can do my tires, and you don't have to be that. I mean, you still have to be dialed, but you don't have to be that dialed. I don't know. We could go on and on. I'm with you.
But Terry, I think we're over the curve of guys that have ever run on we'll just say a treaded tire. They never even run on them. They don't even own one. So for them to go to the track, this coming weekend, we're going to go to, I don't know, Boston Kingdom and go run there. And every UAS guy's got to be on a Burris tire between a 22 and a 55. How many guys would show up?
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying.
But by the way, it pays $5,000 to win.
Well, but in that same breath, Chris, I mean, and there again, I've been around and around with that, where everybody says, well, man, if you paid, you'd get more numbers. Man, you know what? I saw Scott McDowell put up when they were racing cage carts to come to Oakwood. They said, hey, he said, you know what? All you got to do is show up. I'll pay your entry fee. So if 300 guys would have showed up, he would have had to cough that money. Do you know how many guys showed up for a free entry fee?
2.
0. Nobody came. Uh-oh, I lost him. Oh, well. That's probably why. Probably the end of the show. That's the Lord telling us, hey, Gibb, we don't like that. Hey, man.
I got disconnected.
No problem. But, yeah, 0 guys showed up. And so that's my thing, is everybody says, wow, God, if you pay. Money isn't always it either.
Yeah, but how many guys did they get it? Look at that Sunday show at Monroe.
Oh, yeah, I know, man. I know. And you know what?
I mean,
look at guys like Harless, the guys that run up there. They run treads. They come down. And, dude, they're backing it in on those Yamahas. I mean, matter of fact, I think Levi Harless, he won an open show, at Salem, backing in with his Yamaha. I mean, it was it wasn't just a stock Yamaha, but still. I mean.
He had the most fun.
You bet he did. And you know what? He looked the coolest, too.
Well, and again, I'm just saying, if we don't get to that point, I want to try to be more of an ambassador to move forward in a helpful way.
I agree.
And I'm not saying that, we got to turn it over and everybody's got to go to treads, but we certainly, if we don't start taking it serious, us old guys that have been through the era of all of it, it's once it goes away and somebody like myself doesn't stand firm on it, or my brother, Scott Boley. I mean, there's a lot of guys, dude.
Phil Fowl. Phil Fowl's an advocate because he says, hey, man, I don't even believe in all the electronic stuff. He goes, I never had it. I had to go by the seat of my pants.
Ronnie would go tread racing if everybody was tread racing in a minute. Because if it's the same for everybody, trust me, if you can put on a set of tires and burn, I got tires. Well, the tires that are sitting on my twin right now that I got ready to go, those things are 7 years old.
And that thing's going to fly.
Again, it's the choice. It's what I'm going to go run on it. Is it going to be great? No. Would it be faster on slicks? It depends, because at our club, the water truck can go right in front of UAS. What do? Jump up and down and freak out? No, you gotta be ready, or you get ready to zip the tires on and off it, or just be good at your tread program, and you can run them from an 11 all the way to a 55 and run just about as fast as a slick. Because again, what we run on, it gets grumbly, and you're running, a guy behind you that's got treads, and you're running slicks. If this guy ends up getting into the back of you and you're on slicks and moves you up barely half a groove, dude, you're done. You're going to go from 0 to 0.
So let me ask you, my last question before we get out of here. We kept everybody over, but that's okay. It's because it's been cool. But what would happen if UAS carts had to be on treads?
Same as QRC cars. I don't see why they can't. If you can take a 110 horsepower QRC car with a wing and run those things, I know the conflict of talk will be the racetrack prep. Well, that means the guys don't. That means the racetrack prep guy doesn't have to work as hard. He can still put all the shit in it, sodium chloride and blah blah blah, and run it in. But he don't have to run the thing in perfect. It doesn't got to be a billiard table because the tires are bigger. The right rear tire on my twin is 37 inches, so it's okay. And you know what? You actually want that when you're on treads because you're using the sidewall of the tire to make grip, which is obviously like a torsioning effect. Do I think everybody could do it? Well, SoCal had a race. That's the one that Felch won. Ronnie led most of it until he busted a reed. And I saw those guys get out and say that was one of the coolest races they ever run when they came to the sand pit back in 2012.
Well, you know what I heard? I thought Aaron Nelliton was leading that. Aaron Nelliton was waxing them.
Well,
and then I think he broke something in there.
Ronnie was going to be tough to beat. Losi was really fast too, and the fast three cars were Felch, Ronnie, and Losi. Period. The guy with the 390, he was good, but again, I'm not going to pick sides on who was.
I know.
The racing itself was that on board. I think Ronnie had a GoPro facing backwards with Wayne behind him. That's got to be some of the best video footage of speedway karting of what it should be. And those dudes got it on. No joke.
Yeah, that's sweet. Well, Ronnie said, it says, UAS and treads, it would be a whole different story around here. Let's do it, 84. Yeah, I mean,
tires are tires, dude. They're round, and you're going to even the playing field up. Yeah, you might have a little bit different chassis choice going forward, but I think, again, the track promoter and track prep guy isn't going to have to kill himself for the guys that got a splitter that sit, an eighth of an inch off the ground, and they start wadding the thing up, and they gripe at the track's not smooth. Well, I got news for you. You ever watched the QRC race? I mean, those dudes back it in, and
don't they have they got a right rear tire rule too, right?
Absolutely. They run a stock 55, which is about a 72 to 76 durometer.
So that's going to save people gobs of money in tires. I mean, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, and they have an air pressure rule, I think, of 12 or 15 pounds also.
Chris Vieira says everybody that has raced a kart on treads always has a smile.
Yep. I don't know. It's hard to change the mentality because the swing of old guys who have run on treads to the younger generation that only knows slicks and it's stuck to the racetrack and it's like driving a slot car with a steering wheel. I get it. But fun factor, treads are more fun to drive on when you get 10 or 12 UAS guys out there all backing in and standing on it on treads, pulling tear-offs. It's no challenge of the smiles, hands down.
No doubt. Hey, what are you doing next Sunday?
I guess I'm going to be talking to you, it sounds like.
Yeah, would you want to?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, man, let's continue this thing. I think it would be cool. And so all of you out there, spread the word. We're going to be talking about that. We're going to start off the show next week with what would happen if UAS was on treads, and could it happen? And maybe we should try a race. Maybe we should
try a race.
We should. I mean, What's it going to hurt? You know, I mean, really, what's it going to hurt? You have one where everybody's on that. You get Burris on board. I bet you Kurt Burris would be smiling ear to ear, and he'd be more than happy.
I put it on the line that Kurt would be willing to sell tires at cost to everybody, and everybody on the same rubber to go out and do it, and let's see how unhappy everybody is when they get off the racetrack. I bet there'd be smiles for miles.
Dudes, so you hear that? So let me tell you, think on this. You got a week to sleep on it. We're going to come back. We're going to have Chris Gibb on the show next Sunday, and we're going to be talking about what would happen if we had UAS on treads. Gibber, you're the man, dude. Thanks for being here. Thanks for the short notice, and I'll be talking to you next Sunday.
Thanks, DB. Glad everybody tuned in, and remember, go fast, turn left, treads and tear off. See you later.
Later. Chris Gibb, everybody. The guy is awesome. U.S. is open. Then nothing stopping guys from running treads. Yeah, I'm just saying, Ronnie, I think we should try it. And if you or Kevin Bridges has that video from Evergreen, post it up on your page. You guys, either go to Kevin Bridges or send it to me, and I'll post it on the Northwest Race Report. You have got to see Kevin Bridges and Ronnie Cox on the 3/8 at Evergreen on the pavement. It is ridiculous. I'm telling you, it's ridiculous. So, heck yeah. Anyway, that's another show. Thanks to Chris Gibb for being a stud like he always is. He's the real deal for sure. Sleep on this. Let's bring Mark Bergfeld in. I'm going to try to get Robbie Yao to tune in. I'm going to try to get Chris C to tune in next week, and we're going to talk about this. Maybe this is something that maybe could happen. I don't know. But, I mean, what could it hurt? I mean, heck, we're just here kind of thinking about everything anyway. So, hope everybody's safe. I love you. Remember, put God first, then you, then everybody else. Everything else falls into place. And if somebody's on the bottom, where do you go? You go to the outside, baby. Love you. See you tomorrow night. Got Steve Mortland and Tom Glithero, a couple of studs in the broadcasting business, going to be on the show on Late Model Monday. That'll start tomorrow night at 7, and we'll be going from 7 to 8, so I hope you guys can all tune in. Otherwise, I'll see you guys next Sunday. Remember, NWRR is the first and third Wednesday of the month until everything kind of picks back up. Hopefully the loader's going to be back in. Say some prayers for him. He lost his mother-in-law this weekend, so things are kind of a bummer around the loader household. But he says he's going to be back. I'm looking forward to having him back. And so anyway, until then, I love you guys. Have a great week. Peace. Well, another show in the books. You are the reason we're here. We hope you'll tune in next week for another Winning Wednesday here on the Northwest Race Report.
Lippy here. If you like tonight's show or any of our shows, please like and share on Facebook. And don't forget to stop by TerryBridgesRacing.com. Subscribe so you don't miss any of our shows.
What's up, race fans? This is the real deal, Chris Gibb, and you're listening to the Northwest Race Report.
Hey, what up, Rocket? It was pretty good, huh? Yeah, it was cool. Well, you know what you need to do, man? You know what you need to do is you just need to come over on Sunday. And then you can, if you can make it, and just sit in and then you can be right here and bang. That would be cool. That'd be cool. That'd be cool as hell. That would be cool. Well, I was reading them. I get going and then I kind of got to scroll down because UAS open, nothing stopping guys now from running treads. Oh no, yeah, I missed that.